as you say, so this is Trump's last term. He won't be president next term, and I wouldn't be surprised if Elon Musk kind of sometimes fancies himself as the next president. So I think that's going to be quite interesting. I don't think this kind of um, partnership that they have is going to last 4 years. I can't see that happening.
No, it's got to be a marriage made in hell. And of course, if I was Trump, I'd be very worried because Elon Musk just announced the other day he wants to send a man to Mars. And if I was Trump, I would sleep very lightly until that rocket takes off.
Yvonne, what do you think about so this ceasefire that has taken place between Israel and Hamas is, first of all, in the first instance, when we look at it, it is something that was pushed onto um, Israel. If we look at all of the terms, first of all, the terms of the ceasefire are pretty much the same as what we had like over a year ago, and again in I think May or June, and Israel rejected it every time. If you look at the terms, in the big picture, basically Israel has failed in every single objective that they set for themselves, whether it is getting rid of Hamas government or um, taking over the Philadelphia corridor or pushing the Gaza population into Egypt, or even taking over the northern Gaza. So all of those things, they have to take their troops out. So they'll fail on every single one of their objectives, which is a success for the Palestinian people. But on the other hand, as you say, Israel has never ever abided by any ceasefire deals, and I can't see them kind of sitting still for long. And some people say that they might take this opportunity to now pivot on the West Bank and try to annex land there. What are your thoughts?
Well, my heart goes out to the Palestinians living in Gaza. We've all seen the lunar landscape that is now Gaza. It's just this narrow little strip of rocks and rubble. I have a feeling that Israel has plans to duplicate the canal, the Suez Canal in Gaza. And there are plans in the government archives from the 1960s where America and Israel were working together to see if it was feasible to put a rival Suez Canal in to Gaza. And it was actually called the Ben Gurion Canal. And I really wonder if they are trying to revive this plan. The problem with Suez Canal is it's sand and very light sediment, so it has to be cleaned regularly and it's ongoing. And of course, just a couple of years ago, there was a ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal, which brought to a halt 70% of the world's trade on the shipping lanes, which makes me wonder how much of an accident that was, because it's, the whole world was focused on Suez and realizing how fragile that waterway actually is. Gaza is the area that they're looking at in Gaza is near this Philadelphia sector that the Israelis are keen to maintain. And I just wonder, the 1962 or 63 plans, which are in the archives for anyone to see, because after the 30-year rule, they became public. These plans that America wanted would involve heavy bombing to get rid of the rock, and carve a canal out of rock, which would be much easier to maintain than the Suez Canal. And so I wonder, and of course there's the oil fields that is in Gaza's waters, but of course Israel says that that oil and gas is theirs. It's a huge oil field, and of course if they did have a trade canal running through Gaza to the Red Sea, then that would immediately give it access to Europe, which of course is desperate for oil and gas, having been told that it can't trade with Russia because of US sanctions. So there's, if you join a lot of dots together, there could be something far more sinister at play here. And of course, the labour would be intensive. It would take about 300,000 people to create the Ben Gurion Canal. And of course, there is a ready workforce in Gaza. Or it would be easy enough to create a lot of big warehouses in which to house, a 300,000 strong workforce. So I have an awful feeling that that this is a long-term plan and a long-term gain that Israel and America has. And of course, we've seen Trump pull out of the climate agreement in Paris. And, that famous saying that he has of drill, baby, drill. He is a man who is hooked on fossil fuels and won't be shifted. So this is an area that I think that ought to be looked at by the environmentalists, who are really dismayed at the moment at the way in which America is going. And of course, about 4 or 5 years ago, without much fanfare or noise, the Russians were in Antarctica and planted a Russian flag on the ice cap and on the seabed as well. And again, if somebody gets into the internet, and they'll find these pictures. And so who owns the ice cap? The Russians are almost certainly going to say it's us. And of course, the ice cap area is rich in minerals and the sort of products that the West desperately needs to progress with its electric cars. And so, as I say, when I look at Gaza, I just think, why did they find it necessary to flatten every building in Gaza and drop these bombs, which in the end Biden stopped the 2,000 pound bombs. But that's another executive order that has been swept out of the way by Trump. Yep. So these 2,000 pound bombs are going to be dropped in Gaza again. And, I just fear that we're not being told the real motivation of America. And again, we should remember why the Iraq War happened, and that was oil.
Yeah.
And, the Americans are addicted to.
Hey there. I hope you're enjoying this episode. Let me just take a moment to introduce our sponsors for today. This episode is kindly being sponsored by the Worldwide Listings Company Limited, or WLC for short. WLC is a complete A to Z Amazon account management service. So if you're looking to start an e-commerce business, or you already have a business that you want to take to the next level, then get in touch and WLC will be able to help. Just for transparency purposes, let me also mention that WLC is a company that I personally created and am a director of. So when you get in touch with WLC, you will be speaking with directly myself or my team, and we very much look forward to speaking with you to see how we can serve your needs. Thank you. And with that said, let's get back to the episode.